rope in Dr. Martin on this, because
Yes.
you'll handle the political side of it. Unless you have an input on the IP, on the IT system itself. But I wanted just to ask you that, of course, to ask Dr. Martin, that is, we are seeing from the affidavit that George Njoroge is stating that there is a manual RTS system, but in this section, it was an image, as you just are saying, file of the exact physical form that was transmitted. Question is, where did he get this manual RTS inputs from? Wasn't this the problem in the 2017 election that led to the images in these elections as well? So it's a complete extrapolation of what we had from 2017. Dr. Martin.
I think, Ainea, let's be honest to our audience. And one thing that I know and I like about Kenyans in this election, I think we have the media, we have the experts, we have the lawyers, but the winners in this election are Kenyans who have really been very savvy and have caught out a lot of these affidavits that have been filed, which are so frivolous, in my opinion, to the level that even an expert in where I see it, I just wonder how is this accepted? Now, with all due respect to my colleague at the panel, first of all, when these Form 34As were being transmitted, they were coming through a protocol that actually is secure, and even the MNOs, that is Safaricom, Telecom Kenya, and even Airtel, did not know which mechanism that was being used to encrypt those particular forms as they were being transmitted. At the point of receipt, the form is received, and of course you can save it in any format so long as it's been received securely. The question really is, if you counted what was transmitted in terms of the votes that were counted, and remember, Dibal, the agents had a photo of the Form 34A that was being transmitted by the officer, the IEBC officer at the polling station. And I was an agent here, and I saw exactly what the process is. So therefore, if you take those Form 34As, and this is what I'm urging the my fellow panelists, the easier way is you take the Form 34As that were being collected at the polling stations, add them up, and find out if that figure is different from what Chebukati has. If it is different, then you know that there's a discrepancy. If it is not, that is where the foolproof is. And let's not beat about the bush. The Form 34As are the DNA of this election, especially when you want to make sure that you get exactly what people voted for. And that's what we should be crying for. But not saying that because someone has come in with this assertion that there were some hackers and they went into the system and therefore they sort of changed the system. Let's even give that the benefit of the doubt. How many hackers were there? How many papers did they change? And if it was significant, that would have been flagged off with all the logging systems that we have. Every server in the world normally logs data automatically. Therefore, there would have been some evidence to show that these servers have been hacked to a certain degree. And I believe the firewalls that were in place, including the layers that were there, where not everybody had even the password before the day of the election, were one of the measures that were in place to make sure that you secure that particular information. So for me, from where I see it, and in fact, looking at it from really a professional level, the evidence that has been given, especially from George Njoroge's affidavit, is really below the belt, if you ask me. Because first of all, it does not give you the end results of what was achieved with those hackings. It does not even give you where that data came from, because that's something that he should be responsible for. To say, this is where we got the data, these are the methods that we use to extract that information, and this is exactly how we secured that evidence to ensure that it corroborates what we believe the IEBC had. These things are missing in that particular report. And to make it worse, some of actually the pages that I quoted are missing the correct information. So to be honest, you cannot admit these kind of mistakes at this particular level and then come and tell us that now we need to go and do a recount because one image here is missing and one image there is not missing. We really have to be serious here, because this is something that people have voted for. And I repeat, the DNA of this election lies on Form 34A. If you have a query, we can still count Form 34As. And to do a simple math, let's be honest, Dibal again here, the reason why they were put in a public portal was very simple, that everybody will have a copy, everybody will do a tally, and therefore you'll have some commonality. And if there is any discrepancy, it would have been flagged off already. So this is actually a basic principle that is used in blockchains, where you redistribute all the information that you have, and once everybody has a copy of each of that particular information, if there's a change anywhere, you'll be able to know what it is. And that's how Kenyans have been very savvy in this particular process. And we've seen various institutions, various countries, various newsrooms have come up with almost the same figure that Chebukati has.
So there's a whole question, and I thought maybe Justice Nyamwai wanted to respond. Just a rejoinder to what Dr. Martin said.
What Dr. Martin said. Dr. Martin didn't listen to my argument because he's saying that I should have not said what I said. And I didn't say what he's trying to say. What I said was this. If we relied on the images alone to get the tally, I'm saying that if that's the number we have, then for us to be able to account and find out whether that is the right number, exactly what he said, that we should go back to the original forms, and then we look for another form because we have a copy that is retained within the box, for example. So with those three copies, if we compare them and we have a good sample and be able to tell, and then we find out there's a significant difference among the three or the four copies, then we can say that we have a problem at hand, because the three of them should tally. We're using 3 or 4 of those copies.